So I have this tournament clip that I want to show you. It's of the mix-up from 2 weeks ago, top 8 loser's side. Buffalo Soldier is playing against Sin, and he does down forward 1, down forward 2, which is -9, right? And then he does down forward 2, like at -9, which lands counter hit for a full launch. It's very weird. People who know how to play Tekken should not be mashing at -9. So you might think this is a one-off occurrence, right? It doesn't happen a lot. But no, lots of players from different regions will do this against other top players, as you can see here from the clips that we're looking at. And although it is very rare to see at this caliber of play, top-level players will abuse this tactic against less skilled players. The Americans do it, the Europeans do it, the Middle Easterners too, and even the Koreans do it, blatantly, as you can see in this clip, right? And I don't have footage of Pakistanis playing with weaker players, but I'm pretty sure they do it too. This is actually a very well established strategy called pressing out of frame. To the uninitiated, it might seem like mashing visually, but they are fundamentally different. Mashing is random, it has no rationale behind it, it's mindless really. But pressing out of frame has an overarching thought process behind it, and it is applied through data and evidence, right? Not just randomly. Pressing out of frame usually follows a specific process, right? And this is how it usually goes. Let's say you do something that's -7, 8, or 9, or something with pushback, right? So obviously, at an intermediate-ish level, this is the thought process most people would have. I did something that's hella minus, so if my opponent attacks me now, I'm going to get blown up, right? Because I'm so minus. Meaning, the best option for me would be to block, just block. But now, the opponent goes, this dude's hella minus. He's gonna wanna keep blocking because he doesn't wanna get blown up if he presses, right? So instead of just throwing something out and hoping it hits, I should apply a mix-up or do a low poke or you know, something that might let me score more damage, or even go for plus frames and then mix them up afterwards, right? But the thing about most low pokes and scary mix-ups and lockdown plus frame moves is that they are rather slow. Think of any mix-up that you can think of right now, anyone. Mishima's, King, Ana, Raven, you name it. Any real scary mix-up takes time to take effect. So the premise of pressing out of frame is anticipating that the opponent will go for a mix-up or a low or a slow lockdown move, you know, instead of just going for something that's gonna get blocked, and hitting them before their rather slow option comes out, right? What separates blind mashing from pressing out of frame is mainly the thought process behind it. There's really no thought process behind mashing, that's why it's bad. It might work once or twice, but any other attempt after that will probably cost you the round against an experienced player. But when talking about pressing out of frame, you are consciously taking that decision. You throw out the move and you see what the opponent does. If you see that they are getting too comfortable after blocking it and thinking that they have the freedom to mix you up afterwards, as in you relinquished your turn, you can shut them down really quick. And it's that conscious decision with the data of past interactions behind it that makes it an actual strategy instead of just blind mashing. It's the data and the evidence behind it. Of course, you could do the same thing if you're minus because your opponent did a move that's plus on block, and that's better known as challenging the opponent's frames, which is a fairly known thing that you should try to be doing sometimes, or else you won't be able to play Tekken 8 if you respect the opponent's plus frames every time. But you should be way more careful in this situation than if you did something that's minus, right? And that's because most times, the overwhelming majority of the time actually, it is the initiator, as in the one who did the move, that's the player who has more chances to win the interaction, because they are actively enforcing it, and the player who's being exposed to it needs more time to register the situation and then think of the last few interactions and then make a decision. The main point here being is that you can also press out of frame if the opponent did something that's plus on block. That's better known as challenging the frames. But you should be more careful in this case, because there are more chances you're probably playing into the opponent's hand in this situation. But here's the thing. If you lean too far into it, it actually goes from being bad for you to being favorable actually. The third stage of pressing out of frame is pressing after the opponent hits you with a move, right? If you do this to some players, you will be called a terrorist. Being a terrorist is not only about pressing out of frame when you just got hit, but it is a pretty big part of it. And the reason it works so well is that after getting hit, the response, obviously from any reasonable player, would be to just stop pressing and block. So the attacker becomes so absorbed in that it's my turn, like after hitting the opponent, like that kind of mentality, that they let themselves default to slower options, like mix-ups or slower mids or whatever, because they reasonably think you're going to block. And that's when you hit them with like a hop kick or down forward 2 or whatever. You should still be careful though, because when you become a known terrorist, people actually start respecting you even after they just hit you with a move or with a punish or whatever. In which case, not only are you gonna get punished twice in a row, as you can see, you're also gonna look like the biggest scrub because you pressed immediately after getting hit, right? Either that or you just get counter hits launched, which will cost you the round immediately. So that's all the layers of pressing out of frame that I can remember right now. It takes some time to keep training this skill consciously until you can start using it without it taking too much mental effort on your part, right? But it is very worth it, as you can see. Like, if the best players in the world use it, the least you could do is learn what it is, but you should also try to learn how to press out of frame from time to time, right? But yeah, that's about it. You can hit me up on Twitter or Discord if you have anything to say. The links are down in the description. You can also book me for a coaching session on Medify. The link is also down in the description. But yeah, that's all for now. This has been Magician. Take care and have a good one.